EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchich here with your outlook for January 21st, 2021. For your Thursday, expecting some morning clouds, called partly to mostly cloudy this morning, and then becoming partly cloudy this afternoon. As those clouds decrease, it will be a little bit milder than yesterday and less wind to deal with. So winds are going to shift out of the southwest, so we're going to get those temperatures up from the upper 30s in the far northern areas to middle 40s far southeast. So it's going to be an improvement in temperature. Still on the chilly side, but for this time of year, that is technically slightly above average. And we'll have those very slightly above average temperatures continue through Friday. I think Friday's going to take a step back in temperatures by a couple degrees. But it's not until we get to the weekend that we see some big change with temperatures. We are expecting partly cloudy skies again tonight, and then partly to mostly sunny skies here on Friday for most of us. Could be a snow shower closest to the New York-Pennsylvania border with some lake effect going on there. But again, once you get to Saturday, that's when we have the really cold temperatures coming into the region, and this is what the NAM is suggesting for highs for the entire day here on Saturday. And we have temperatures in the 20s, not getting out of the 20s in the interior, and then once you get south of 78 here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, you're getting above 30, barely. All right, so it's going to be kind of cold as we head into the weekend. And to add insult to injury here on Saturday, we're expecting breezy conditions, kind of similar to what we had yesterday as far as the wind is concerned. Not really high wind, but I mean, if you're talking about temperatures that are 28 degrees and you have a wind gusts that are 20, 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour, you're going to have some wind chills that are going to be in the single digits, 14s. I mean, it's going to be pretty chilly to be outside here during the day here on Saturday. But this is kind of the pattern we're going into, or at least for a week or so, we're going to be hovering around the freezing mark and not really going to see much improvement in temperatures. So whatever you see today's probably going to be the highest. Today's definitely going to be the highest temperature you'll see over the next 7 days, but it might be the highest you'll see in a while until we get out of this pattern over the next week to 10 days or thereabout. So once we get to Sunday, we're expecting a mostly sunny day, and then we are going to turn our attention to the next system coming toward our region that we expect to come in on Monday. Now, this is going to be a very, very broad timing, because there's some vast timing differences between several pieces of model guidance, depending on what you look at, and there's a lot of disagreement with how this system evolves. Okay, so it looks like most areas are going to at least start as snow, but there are still three or four different camps here of what the models are showing. It all depends on what the track of this system. This is going to be an overrunning system like we've been talking about for the last couple of days. So we have identified the type of system and the storm signal we identified a long time ago, several weeks ago. But now here's the storm, and we just need to identify where it's going to track and exactly how far north that precipitation gets, and that's going to be the big question here. Here is the European model's take, and again, the generalized timing is going to be anywhere from Monday afternoon through as late as Tuesday morning. Okay, but it's not going to be that entire time. So in other words, you have some models that are suggesting it comes in Monday afternoon and it goes through the night and you're fine on Tuesday. Other models saying it comes in like Tuesday or Monday evening and lasts through the night, goes into Tuesday morning. So there's a lot of different scenarios there with the timing, with the different evolution of this particular system. But we basically have you have a primary low that's going to run up through the Ohio Valley here, and because there's a very strong high pressure up here, it's going to force a block and a redevelopment of this system. So it's not going to it's moving in this general direction toward the region, kind of like this, okay? But it's going to run to this block, and it's kind of like a roadblock where it can't go any further, all right? So it has to force redevelopment off to a secondary low somewhere near Virginia Beach or thereabout. That's variable too, where exactly that transfer occurs, but there's going to be some forced redevelopment here. So this precipitation coming in here is going to be forced to redevelop. Now the question is, how far north does this get? Now the European model takes this all the way up to almost Cleveland, Ohio, before it redevelops. And you can see snow initially, but if it does that, and it has such a strong low like that, you're going to have some serious icing issues, because this is pretty far inland before it forces that redevelopment. So you're going to have snow to ice in the situation, like shown, until that transfer finally occurs and it offshore like this. And then you maybe get some snow on the back end after it changes over from ice. So this is the European model's take. This is just one of about 4 different solutions that I'm seeing this evening. And this has us going into Tuesday morning before it pulls away. And then here's the GFS take. Much different. This is the polar opposite. This one has a very, very weak low, very far south. Not up by Cleveland here, but it's down here over eastern Kentucky. It's very weak. It's not amped at all, so the majority of the precipitation stays south of the Mason-Dixon line, maybe a little bit getting into southern PA, Delaware, maybe southern New Jersey here. No, it actually doesn't even have anything in southern New Jersey, and it just kind of fizzles out. There's no redevelopment. It just kind of falls apart. Poof, gone. So, is it a possibility this happens? Yeah, it is, but I would say this is the lower end of the possibility. I do think we get something out of this, but this is one of those four solutions. Something that's probably in the middle is the Canadian model that is running this evening. Just to give you an idea what that's doing, it brings it brings it a little bit further north here and a little bit stronger of a low. It does force that redevelopment, but in this case, it looks like just the southern half of our region is going to get into anything that would be of note. Further north of there, it's really not doing anything. Up when you get up by Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Lake Wallenpaupack, up here in northern New Jersey, it doesn't have anything there. This is kind of like an in the middle model. The UK Met that ran this evening, I don't have that image for you, but I can see it on another. I have multiple screens here. I can see it on another screen. It's actually showing a swath of snow that's kind of like this, big swath of snow up in these areas here. So the UK Met is still on board for a heavier snowfall. So there's a lot of different solutions. There's four there. And we really don't have the not only the timing, but the exact track of this. This is going to be critical. What's going to be critical here is how far north does this get? This has it over West Virginia instead of Eastern Kentucky, so it's a little bit further north than the GFS. But the European model is taking this really amped system up into at least Columbus, Ohio, before it forces redevelopment. And in that case, you have a situation where you're going to have some heavier snow and then some icing because it's a stronger low, significant icing in this case. And then once the redevelopment occurs, icing will go over to snow before it ends. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. We have a lot of time to look at this. Thankfully, this is only Thursday. We're talking about something that would be next Monday and Tuesday. You can see the timestamps here. This is still ongoing here. This is 140 hours into the future, so you got a lot of time to look at this yet. So the storm signal is still there. We know the type of system we're dealing with. It's going to be something that cuts into the Ohio Valley somewhere, whether that's Eastern Kentucky, over Ohio somewhere, or West Virginia. Still remains to be seen. And then where does the redevelopment occur? How far south is it? How far north is it? And we'll see what kind of precipitation types we'll deal with at that time. This is going to be a very confusing system. This is something we're not going to be putting maps out early for because it's going to be futile. There's going to be something that we'll probably put a call out here on Sunday for the first time. So we're going to wait a little bit on this one. This is not a rush to be first here. So just understand that we're going to be taking our time with this because we need to figure out exactly what's going on. And the ensembles that run are not very much help today either. So hopefully the next couple of days we'll get a better clue of what's going on and we kind of settle on one of these solutions to figure out which one is right and which one is wrong. After the system exits and pulls away, we are dry here on Wednesday with mostly sunny skies. And we're going to turn our attention to another possible system that comes in next Thursday, Friday time frame. So there's one right on its heels. If the first one doesn't hit for your area or doesn't work out like you want, there's another shot here coming in a couple days behind that. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for January 21st, 2021. Have a great Thursday.